So I put together a little intro about you. You
Awesome.
can see if this is correct or not.
Okay.
So you earned a BFA in acting from UIC.
Mm-hmm.
You've worked with theater companies in Chicago, including the Factory Theater,
Yes.
Lifeline Theater, Eclipse Theater Company, Griffin Theater. Others? Any others?
Yeah, off the top of my head, Cuckoo's Theater Project, who they're not around anymore, but it was awesome working with them. I worked with another small company called El Bear. They do really fun stuff. They do just like really kind of like wacky, I don't want to say like, it's not like sketch comedy, but like it's like wacky, fun type of stuff.
Okay.
That I did my first like show out of college with them. Yeah, it was just like super zany fun. I think I played a lot of different characters. One of them, the one I remember, I like got this really cool like luchador mask. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Was it improv shows or
No,
actual
it was
scripts, new
it was
work?
scripted, all new works.
Okay.
But like just like kind of like the general vibe, like it felt like we were having the type of fun we were having. It felt like improv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Love that. Okay. Then television credits include Shining Girls on Apple TV, NBC's Chicago Med, and FX's The Bear.
Yeah.
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 Super cool. So I want to tell you something. When you came in to audition, Richard had no idea what The Bear was.
Really? That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, Guy Sullivan, who plays Harold, was behind the table, me, and then Richard. And the audition process, you come in the room, headshot and resume is given, there's some chit chat, we get time to look at, your credentials, and then you talk with Richard. And Guy and I both are like, wait, what? Going here? And Richard, was just asking you questions, and then you left, and Guy and I both were like, he's in the Bear, and Richard goes, what's The Bear? So that's something I should know about. Which means that, he cast you and loved you based on just
Terrific.
you being you.
Yeah. No, actually that's awesome to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It felt. The energy was really good. It felt really good in the room. Like you said, it was different than most other audition experiences in the sense that it was kind of like sit down and talk, and then I think we read through a scene or two.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It felt like controlled chaos. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Like it felt like we were kind of just gonna throw something at the wall, but it stuck.
Yeah. Because he had me read Philip.
Right,
I remember
right.
I sat right next to you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was, egging me on to get louder and louder, and he had Guy read stuff.
I almost thought you were going to be Philip for him.
Yeah, just like put a little.
Right.
I could be a young boy, right?
Oh gosh.
Tell us about Treat. Tell us who you play.
Yeah, I play Treat. He's the older of the two siblings in the show. From an outsider's perspective, I guess he's kind of the rougher of the two. I don't know. I think he's definitely, he's lived a little bit more of a life than Philip has, in the sense that he's actually had communication with the outside world. He knows what happens outside of the walls of their apartment. But all that being said, I think that all of the qualities that Philip has, like the softness and being naive, not like in a bad way, but I think all of those qualities live in Treat also. I don't think he's just like this like hot-headed ruffian who's all passion, drive, and doesn't think things through. I think Treat's a very interesting, dynamic person, which is, when I read the script, that's really what drew me to that character, because I'm not that way at all. I'm not. I very rarely lose my temper. Things kind of tend to roll off my back pretty easily. So, it's fun to get to explore, what happens when you don't just let things go, when you hold on to things and you kind of let them fester inside you, it's good stuff.
It is. It's cathartic.
Yeah.
I was talking about that with Jimmy. Treat has a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Taking care of.
And a lot of it he puts
everything.
on himself too, That's something I think is super interesting about Treat. Yeah, like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he doesn't have to be. He kind of put it there. He put it there. But I think it gives him purpose. I think that, and not to spoil anything about the play or anything, but I think that that's really, someone could look at this play and think that Treat like manipulates Philip and tries to control him, but I don't really think so. I think he's genuinely trying to take care of him because he feels like that's his purpose in life, because that's all he's ever really known. I mean, we don't know exactly how old the boys were when both their parents exited the picture, but we can infer that they were young enough that that Treat. Yeah, he took on the responsibility of parent almost to his younger brother.
So what has been the best part of the rehearsal process so far?
If I were to pick one single aspect that's been the best part, honestly, I would say the willingness that the rest of the team, the willingness for them to kind of like put in extra work, and that goes all across the board, like the cast, and then also, director and stage manager. I think that's been super cool. We've been meeting up before rehearsals early to kind of talk about the things like we had just discussed, and I think that's been my favorite part, is just the work ethic that everyone else is putting forth.
So what's been the most challenging?
Jeez Louise. I think the most challenging thing for me personally is, it's kind of like the cool thing about theater or just about art in general is like everybody has their own approach, and we come together and we collaborate to make something. And the approach that Richard's had with rehearsals has been vastly different than any other approach that I've ever, I don't want to say been faced with, because that sounds silly, but that I've ever experienced. And I'm not saying that like it's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying it's something that's different, and it's sometimes I feel myself like sometimes I can feel myself like trying to play catch up, like in the sense of like I feel like he might be a couple steps ahead of like where we are already. That's definitely been what's most challenging, is to come in and because we're playing the same game essentially as any other production, just by slightly different rules,
That's because Richard doesn't live under any rules. If there is
Right.
a rule,
Okay.
he will break it. What is your favorite line of dialogue that Treat
The Treat says.
says?
Oh, off the top of my head, it's so simple. It's
all right.
you shut up. I just think, she says something along the lines of, he's talking to Harold, and he said, he's telling this story, and he wraps it up telling Harold, he says, so you see, Harold, every so often there is justice. And I like that,
What do you want the audience to be thinking about or feeling or experiencing as they leave?
As they leave?
Yes.
Oh, geez. Well, I want everyone to be sober. I know there's a bar at the intermission, so I want everyone to get home safe. Just kidding.
That's very true.
No, I'm kidding.
We do sell lots of non-alcoholic beverages.
Terrific.
All right, I want you to call out two people that should come see you perform as Treat in Orphans.
Oh, geez, two people. Well, super simple, super easy. my now fiance, but by the time this is done being edited, will be my wife. Unless you guys are super fast, unless you can beat me. So yeah, definitely my wife. Sounds weird saying that.
Yeah, say it 3 times. It is hard to get used to.
And you know, as always, I would love for my dad to come and see this. I'm a junior, so my dad's name is also Jose. My dad, you know, he's a large part of why I became an actor. Not so much in the sense that he was ever like, you know, you should be an actor or like or that he was any type of artist or anything like that. But you know, my dad immigrated here from Mexico. And so, like, when I was deciding what I wanted to do with my life, coming out of high school, you know, I had a lot of, you know, thank God I had a lot of great options. And originally I was going to, like, go to college and major in secondary education. I was going to be a teacher, which, hey, you know, shout out to all teachers. That's a really tough job. But ultimately, I decided that I was going to pursue an acting career because, you know, I think about all the sacrifice that my father made coming into this country, and so I thought to myself, like, man, like, he didn't play it safe, so why should I play it safe?
Yeah.
You know, if he's shooting for like a quote unquote like American dream, why not shoot big? And so that's why I'm like, you know what, I'll try the acting thing, and like, you know, that's why it's so cool. The coolest thing for me, like, you know, you mentioned like television credits. The coolest thing for me when watching TV and seeing my name on the screen is that it's also his name.
Right.
You know, so I really, really have a deep sense of gratitude for all the sacrifices, you know, that my dad made. He was born in a very low-income town in Mexico, which, like, you know, you think of a low-income town in the United States, and it's a little less than that even.
Yep.
So to think, I mean, he might be a little embarrassed that I share this, but like, my dad was like literally born like outside in a field. So to go from like that to just one generation later, me being able to set goals and achieve them is huge. It's really big. So yeah.
You've done a lot of TV work, and now you are back into theater.
Yes.
Talk about the differences between the two. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's a whole. I mean, acting is acting. You know, like acting is acting. Acting is the same. I mean, yeah, like maybe like technically, you know, if you're acting in a big house, like. You're projecting more, you're using your body more than you would on camera. But I mean, acting is acting. But like, in a lot of ways, it is, I always kind of think of it like a play is like running a long distance race, like a marathon, versus like on camera is a sprint. Something I really appreciate about theater is that you get to experience your character's arc in the sequence in which it happens every night, versus like, you know, television, you come in and you might be shooting, you know, the scene that's like the climax of whatever character arc you have. You know, you could be doing that day one and then later on shooting X, Y, like the first scene. In a lot of ways, it is like, it's still, I don't want to say acting small, but you know, you don't have to do a whole lot extra because the audience is right here and they're picking up on every little thing. Very similar to how the camera picks up every little thing. You know, as long as you and your scene partner are connecting, then that's all that's all you need to focus on. And I think that carries over very much so, like in a space like this, you know. So like regardless if, you know, so-and-so's great uncle's falling asleep or like, you know, so-and-so's little niece is texting or doing whatever over here, as long as I can maintain a connection with my scene partner, you know, like you said, it'll still be a good, genuine performance.
Yeah.
For sure.
Can we talk about the bear?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you play the character Angel.
Angel, yeah.
So tell me about this character.
Angel is a dishwasher at the Beef. Well, the Bear, I guess now, depending what season you're watching.
Yeah.
He's a dishwasher. He's one of like the OG crew members there. Carmi's older brother had hired him. And yeah, I mean, Angel's, he's got a partner in crime played by a good friend of mine named Richard. It's Manny and Angel, they're the two dishwashers. And I guess this is a little bit off what you're asking me, but it's like I say, like, I absolutely love spending my days on set hanging out with Richard. He's such a cool guy. I mean, everybody is so nice. Like, people tell him, because like, you know, I did Shining Girls, I did Chicago Med, but those were just like one episode, so I was kind of just like there for a day and then I was gone. The Bear has been the first job that, you know, I've been blessed to come day after day and really spend time with the rest of the cast and the crew. You know, everybody's just so awesome in the sense, I remember like I was talking to one of my castmates, I was like, wow, like this is so great. You know, you always hear horror stories of like, you know, being on set and like maybe so-and-so might be difficult to work with, X, Y, and Z, but like there's none of that in the cast of the Bear. And that's something that, you know, I think that I'm very fortunate to have that experience. I know that eventually somewhere in my career, maybe I'll have to deal with someone that, I don't know, might give me a hard time.
Right.
But thankfully not yet.
Well, and that's what comes across in that show is that everyone, the actors, are so grateful.
I think that's what makes
be there.
Yes, I think that's what makes the show so good and so interesting to watch is that everyone has very genuine connections and everyone really cares about each other. You know, it's very nice. Cool.
I have a test for you.
Oh gosh, what is this? A knife?
Can you open it?
I had a feeling it was a knife.
So it's important that you actually can open it because you are the character that has to do it on stage.
Oh, nice.
That is your prop knife.
Oh, cool. It's my first time handling this. Is it sharp?
It is not sharp.
Okay.
So it is an actual switchblade. Yes!
Right.
Okay, now can you close it? That's the tricky part too.
That's the tricky part. I know it's got something. There we go.
You were the first one.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know what that says about me.
It
but,
says that you. It says that you are the person who should have played treats.
Nice, man.
Okay, tell me a true scary story of something that happened to you.
A true. Oh God. A true scary story.
Okay, when were you the most frightened?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I live pretty pretty much like right here, like pretty chill all the time. But most frightened. Even
when you were like 7?
Yeah, especially when I was 7. You know. No. I don't know. I mean, I've been robbed at gunpoint before, I guess.
That's pretty scary.
It was scary. I mean, it's just, the idea of it is scary. You know, in the moment, like I wasn't like scared. It's more like adrenaline rush and like what's going, you know, like what's going on here.
Happening?
Right. You know what? That's fun. That's fun that you say that. Is this really happening? Because like, yeah, like like when I've been robbed or like I've been in a few car accidents, and there's always like this really weird moment, like right after, either right after you see the gun or like right after the impact and everything like slows down for a second. And I can remember like these times in my life feeling like, okay, it's not a video game. Things aren't gonna like reset back to safe, you know?
That is
it's very
true. Who would you trust to help you bury a body?
I trust to help me bury a body? I mean, that really depends on what you're talking. Like, are you saying like who I trust like could physically be capable, or who's going to keep a secret? Because that's going to be kind of hard in my life to find someone who fits both of those things. Most of the people who would be happy to keep that secret, I'm not sure if they realize how much dirt it takes to really bury a body. It's hard work.
We're not going to dig into that. What book was the last book you read?
You know what? I just reread The Witches It's like Roald Dahl, the
Yes!
author. Yeah. I just like randomly the other night. I was reading Orphans, and then I was kind of reflecting a little bit on my childhood, and I was like, I have I have all my favorite books from when I was a kid. Very rarely do I ever pick them up. But I was like, let's read one. And yeah, I read The Witches.
Yes, I love Roald Dahl. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And now I remember, so when we first met you and you came into audition, you actually talked about you had just returned from LA.
Yeah.
And you had gone into a movie theater there.
So I had taken the, because long story short, I brought an old copy of my license, and so I couldn't rent a car. And so like the last day between checkout of the hotel and my flight, I was like kind of stuck with this big bag, and I didn't want to go sit at the airport, so I had to, a lot of touristy stuff will allow you to check in a bag while you're there. So I went to Warner Brothers and took the Turner Classic Movies tour.
Yeah.
And just because I have such a love for film, and I'll be honest, like when I took the tour, I hadn't really seen a lot of like classic movies, but I came back with like this crazy fire in me to like want to watch so many. And like the first one I watched, I was like, I could have rented them, I suppose, but again, like I just like to collect things, so I like bought a bunch of movies. First one I watched was Angels with Dirty Faces with James Cagney, and James Cagney's in Angels with Dirty Faces, and the Dead End Kids, who are mentioned in this play, are in that. And that was kind of like the weird thing too, like when I read the script and I was like, the Dead End Kids, I was like, you know what, man, this is just all lining up too good.
Yes.
Like I have to go audition for this play.
Yes.
But yeah, I love like 1930s, 1940s Hollywood. Like this time 3 months ago, I had hardly seen any of it. Now I've seen, if you ask me, not enough. If you ask my bank account from buying all these films, too much.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Awesome.
It was great talking to you and getting to know you.
Terrific,
Yes.
terrific.
I'm so glad that you said yes
Yeah,
to
me
Plain
too.
Treats,
Thank
and
you
that
guys
you
so
were
much for
going
having
on
me.
this wild ride with us. Yeah.